Every Hidden Hulk Transformation, Ranked Weakest to Strongest Part 2. The Hulk you know, the green one, the one who smashes, is the weakest thing Bruce Banner is capable of becoming. That sounds like an exaggeration. It isn't. Buried in the comics, there's a Hulk who got thrown into a black hole and came back stronger. There's a Hulk that hunts down and kills other Hulks. There's a monster hiding inside the monster, quietly waiting for its turn. Almost nobody has seen these versions, because they live in the corners of the story that never make it to a movie screen. So this is a countdown of the Hulks you don't know. The hidden ones, the inherited ones, the cosmic ones, ranked from weakest to strongest. And one rule runs underneath all of them. The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. And nothing has ever found the ceiling. By the time we reach number 1, we're not really talking about a person anymore. Let's get into it. #7. Doc Green. The genius Hulk, who set out to erase every other Gamma monster. We start with the smartest Hulk who ever lived. After Bruce Banner took a bullet to the head, the only way to save what was left of his mind was an experimental treatment that rebuilt his brain from the inside. And what climbed off the table wasn't the childlike green giant or the nervous scientist. It was something colder and far more focused. A Hulk with genius intellect, in complete control of the body, with Banner shoved into the back of his own head like a prisoner. He refused the name Hulk altogether and called himself Doc Green, and he was frighteningly capable. A single clap of his hands flattened a mansion, and he set himself one mission: to track down every other Gamma-powered being on Earth and strip the radiation out of them, one by one, whether they agreed or not. So why does the smartest Hulk sit at the bottom? Because that intelligence came at a price. Doc Green traded away rage for control. And rage is the engine that makes a Hulk limitless. He was the hardest Hulk to outthink. But his raw power had a hard ceiling the angrier versions simply don't. And there's a quiet warning buried inside him. It's been suggested this cold, calculating Hulk was an early glimpse of a far worse tyrant the character is one day destined to become. 6. Red Hulk Banner's greatest enemy became a monster of his own. Doc Green won his fights by outthinking everyone in the room. The Hulk one rung above him wins his the exact opposite way, by outfighting them, trading a scientist's caution for a soldier's aggression. And there's a completely different man under this one's skin. Not Bruce Banner at all. This is General Thaddeus Ross, the soldier who spent his entire life hunting the Hulk, until he finally became the very thing he'd sworn to destroy. As the Red Hulk, Ross kept his own hard military mind, and it shows in how he fights. Not a blind brawler, but a tactician who uses cover, weapons, and cheap shots to drop enemies far stronger than himself. Early on, he beat a genuinely alarming list of heavy hitters. His real weapon is energy. Red Hulk drinks in radiation and raw force and burns it into strength. And the longer he fights, the hotter his body runs. Hot enough to scorch the air around him. But that heat is also the trap. The Green Hulk gets stronger the madder he becomes, with no upper limit at all. Red Hulk just gets hotter, and that heat has to go somewhere. Push him too far and he starts to burn himself out and weaken. He's a soldier's nightmare given Gamma-powered muscle. But that built-in limit, a monster with an off switch hidden in his own body, is exactly why he can't climb any higher than this. 5. Skaar. The son of Hulk, half Gamma monster, half planet. Everything below this point has been Bruce Banner, one way or another. Skaar isn't. He's the Hulk's son, born on a savage alien world during the years the Hulk spent exiled in space. And he arrived carrying the worst of both sides of his blood. From his father came the Gamma. The strength, the durability, the rage that only climbs the more you hurt him. But from the dying planet he was born on, Skaar inherited something his father never had: the old power, the ability to pull on the raw energy of a world itself, hardening his skin into living stone and hitting like a landslide. He grew up alone in a wasteland, learning to kill before he could barely speak, and he came into the wider universe already a warrior. That combination is what lifts him over the Red Hulk. There's no heat gauge here, no off switch, no cooldown. Skaar carries his father's bottomless rage engine and bolts a second, entirely separate power source onto it, drawn straight out of the core of a planet. He isn't the smartest fighter on this list. And he isn't the most controlled. With two power sources feeding him at once, he doesn't have to be. 4. Kluh. The Hulk's own Hulk. The monster keeps buried. From here on, the danger stops being about muscle and starts being about what's hiding inside. Because here's a question almost nobody thinks to ask. If a monster called the Hulk lives inside Bruce Banner, does something even worse live inside the Hulk? It does. And its name is Kluh. Kluh only surfaced when a reality-bending spell flipped the good and evil of everyone on Earth. And it did something strange to the Hulk. Normally Banner gets angry, and the Hulk takes over. This time the Hulk himself broke, and what crawled out was Kluh, a gray, red-eyed thing born not from Banner's rage, but from the Hulk's own. Sit with what that means. Every ounce of restraint the Hulk has ever shown, every single time he chose not to go all the way, was him holding this down. And the one time it slipped loose, it tore through a full team of Earth's mightiest heroes, like they were furniture, some of them knocked flat by the sound of its voice alone. It kept the Hulk's strength, his healing, his near-unbreakable body, and bolted on a pure, bottomless appetite for destruction. The classic Hulk just wants to be left alone. Kluh wants to watch the world burn. He is the proof that even the Hulk is holding something back. But hold on to that thought, because as unstoppable as Kluh looks tearing through a room, he's still bound by the same rules as everything we've seen so far. He can, in theory, still be put down. The three Hulks above him are where that stops being true. And the one waiting at number 1 isn't something you fight at all. 3 Titan a Hulk that eats other Hulks, and can't be healed away. If Kluh is the Hulk's rage with the leash cut, the next one is something colder, living in the same basement. Titan is also a Hulk hidden inside the Hulk. But this one had been thinking. For a long time it steered Banner quietly from within, wearing the face of someone he loved so he'd never suspect a thing. When it finally surfaced, the Hulk twisted into a towering, spined creature that looked less like a man and more like a walking catastrophe. And Titan broke the rules every other Hulk plays by. He absorbs energy, gamma above all. Dropped onto a whole world full of Hulks, he ripped through them and drank their gamma dry. And this is the part that changes everything. Draining that energy switched off their healing. You cannot regenerate your way out of a fight with Titan, which is precisely what makes nearly every other monster on this list something he could simply kill. And he didn't stop at gamma. He swallowed raw magic and used it to overpower the Sorcerer Supreme himself, erasing one of the Hulk's oldest weaknesses in the process. He was openly billed as the deadliest Hulk ever put to paper, and the more he consumes, the larger and stronger he grows. There may be nothing that naturally makes him stop. 2. Heart of the Monster Hulk. The Hulk pushed past his own maximum. Everything so far has been a different Hulk, or a different man, or a monster wearing his face. Number 2 is just the Hulk, pushed further than he has ever gone. There's a state fans call World Breaker, where the Hulk's power runs so high that his footsteps crack continents and his body leaks enough raw force to threaten the whole planet. This is what happened when even that turned out not to be the limit. Caught inside a story where a wish-granting force was quietly amplifying everyone near it, the Hulk climbed to a level widely regarded as one of the single strongest states he has ever reached. It peaked when he was tricked into facing a colossal dragon that had swallowed the energy of an entire stockpile of gamma bombs. The Hulk simply took that energy for himself, swelled to enormous size, and for one moment stood there, holding enough power to scrub the planet clean of life. Nothing beat him. The only thing that stopped him was the Hulk himself, realizing that if he kept going, there'd be no world and no one left to protect. So he chose to stop. And here's the detail that lingers. It was suggested the sheer rage feeding all of that power never truly belonged to the Hulk, or to Banner, at all. Something deeper was pouring it in. Which points us straight at number 1. 1. The Black Hole Hulk, thrown into a black hole to be erased, and he came back cosmic. And at the very top is the Hulk who was fed into a black hole. His oldest enemy finally accepted that no weapon on Earth would ever be enough, so he teleported the Hulk into the single most destructive object in the galaxy, the supermassive black hole sitting at the center of the Milky Way. Anything else in existence would have been shredded into loose atoms in an instant and felt nothing at all. The Hulk is not anything else. As he fell in, he began absorbing the gamma radiation the black hole itself was bleeding out, and that kept him alive. Alive enough to feel every second of being torn apart atom by atom, and then, impossibly, to start dragging himself back together on the far side of it. What came out was no longer working on a planetary scale. Fueled by the energy of a black hole, this Hulk returned as a cosmic-level force, strong enough that his clash with Earth's heroes got measured against the Big Bang itself. People still argue over what to even call him, a cosmic Hulk, the black hole Hulk, something with no proper name yet. But the idea underneath it is simple, and it's the most frightening thing on this entire list. You cannot kill the Hulk by overpowering him. Push hard enough, and all you've done is build something worse. So that's the other side of the Hulk. The forms that never make the posters. A genius who wanted to cure the world by force. A father's power inherited by a son. A monster hiding inside the monster. A version pulled apart by a black hole and rebuilt as something cosmic. And running underneath every single one of them is the same simple, unbreakable rule. The angrier he gets, the stronger he gets, and there is no ceiling on it, no matter which of these you're looking at. Cure his rage, and he finds a colder kind of power. Kill him, and he comes back. Throw him into the one thing in the universe that erases matter itself, and he walks out stronger than before. That's what really makes him the strongest there is. Not any single punch, but the fact that there's no known way to make him stop. So out of all of these, which one would you least want to come face to face with? And do you think there's a hidden Hulk out there even worse than the one at number 1? Tell me down below.